I'm Robbin. I'm with EJ today. Today I'm having my first virtual show through Zoom on behalf of Shrewsbury Media Connection. I thank Mark Sarah for helping me with the show. I have on Joe Bellil and Mike Kennedy from their Perspective Homes. Hi, guys.
Hey, Robbin.
Hi
Hey,
there.
EJ.
So we're here to just talk
Hello.
about how things are going, because you know how we always talk about health issues, disability issues, a lot definitely going on with this COVID about dealing with those issues. So first of all, I want to thank you for all coming on, and this is my 21st year being on Cable Access.
Wow.
So I haven't aged in a year. EJ got bigger though. So I figure we could just talk, and in the last 5 minutes, I'll definitely let you guys know, okay?
Sounds good.
Sounds like a
All
plan.
right. All right. So, Joe, why don't you begin?
Sure. First of all, congratulations, 21 years.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Robbin. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of good information for the community. So overall, family-wise, I'm doing pretty well. My family's doing well. We're dealing remotely. My wife and I are working. East Seals is still providing services that we normally do, although we're doing it through virtually. Although we have contracted rehab service staff that does go to skilled nursing facilities and other facilities, and so they're doing that. Some are doing some telehealth stuff. We have assistive technology folks that are specialists that are going out and doing work as well, but mostly through online. But at times we're able to drop off equipment to people to keep, especially during this time, we really want people with disabilities to have access to online services and resources and things. So our assistive technology program, again, continues to provide these types of equipment, both software, hardware, things like that, and training. Our youth programs are going to where we're doing things virtually on Zoom, of course, and running programs and what I find is that kids are really looking for youth, young adults are really looking for activities. I mean, this is very strange for all of us, and so they really want that kind of connection, and Zoom provides one type of connection. I think people are really benefiting from that. And then on the advocacy side of things keep on going. Actually, if anything, things are busier. People are a lot of times I do statewide activities, so people are meeting virtually through Zoom, and they're able to do it easier. So you have a lot of people from the West, Springfield, Pittsfield, being involved with Boston and Worcester folks on disability issues. And of course, the whole COVID-19 has triggered a lot of different discussions and things like that. So that's what's happening with me.
And you, Mike? Thank you.
Yep. So this is Mike, with his CLW hat on now. We too, similar to Eastern Steels. I mean, we're all, working remotely. We will, check our, voicemails a couple times daily, but we're still able to, provide services to our consumers, whether it's independent living, whether it's, the PCA program, the personal care assistant program. The staff are keeping in touch with their consumers. We're making very good use of the technology that's out there that enables us to, provide services to our consumers. So far, the feedback from our funders like Mass Rehab Commission and our consumers themselves have all been positive. And other than that, so everybody at Center for Living Working is still able to work. My wife, is working, and guys, please, anytime you see these essential personnel like Mary, just say hello and thank you, because Mary's a nurse at a nursing home.
Mm.
So like I say, when she goes into work, she is all layered up, with protective clothing, face shield, face mask, you name it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the people that, and don't forget, the stores that are open. I mean, they're doing a lot of important work now. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't have supplies.
Yeah, we wouldn't be eating. We'd be losing a lot of weight.
What's that?
I said if we didn't have the stores open, we would be eating junk food.
Oh,
We'd be
yeah.
losing a lot of weight.
Yeah. Well, I the COVID-19 really hasn't been that much of a deterrent for junk food. That's all still out there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you guys, your human service agencies are still working. I mean, you're dealing with people. So whether you are on the site or at home, people are people no matter what year, what day, or what event it is.
Oh, yeah.
You're serving the
I
public.
mean, yeah. And that doesn't go on hold, just because there's a pandemic. I mean, most of our consumers rely on PCA services,
Right.
And just like Joe pointed out, yeah, if anything, our advocacy is even stronger, especially personal care attendants have been having a really difficult time getting personal protective equipment to wear when they go in and assist the consumers. So it's really big stuff. I mean, we've been able to get a hold of the necessary supplies for them, and again, thanks to our advocacy efforts, like Joe pointed out earlier.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some valuable lessons that we're going to learn about healthcare. Now, you guys and I, we've been advocating over 20, 30 years about healthcare. But this COVID-19 has really put the test on healthcare. How effective it is. There were some strengths and there were some challenges, but I applaud the efforts of the advocates when they were talking about rationing care about that. How did you guys feel about that when they were going to determine who lives and who dies? I'm glad they changed it, but that must have been pretty scary for a lot of consumers.
Yeah, you're talking
So you
about affordable care.
Okay.
The standard and stuff that Massachusetts came out with, and statewide, many advocates, disability-related advocates, came out, and were very concerned about the way they were done.
Yeah,
it wasn't so much discriminatory, but it didn't clearly say that if you have a disability, it wasn't going to be used against you, because basically they're saying people, it shouldn't be used on against anyone with a disability. Considering that their life is any lesser than anybody else's and things like that. But it wasn't strong enough. And
right.
so additional wording was put in there. So a lot of larger statewide groups got involved and did a lot of pressuring and got that change done. So that was good.
That was scary.
Yeah.
Oh, big time. Especially Joe and I know a lot of the same people that were behind the advocacy about the rationing, especially if God forbid they had to rely on ventilators. A lot of people that we work with have the neuromuscular diseases, with compromised, respiratory, stuff like that scared the living daylights out of them.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this whole the whole virus thing and lockdown has been really scary for people. Never mind just trying to adjust to it and things like that. But I have people I know that have disabilities that haven't left their apartment at
Mm,
all. I mean, they're in downtown Boston,
wow.
and they haven't left their apartment since March, and because very concerned about potentially catching this, and because of their disability and the negative issues, if the person got coronavirus would be worse than somebody else. They're really taking precautions and stuff. So I mean that's not easy, and we can see ourselves being here, in our homes and things that you try doing, or just trying to go outside just to get fresh air or whatever else. And so I know it's been tough, and then trying to coordinate everything from care. Another issue that came up was some of the buildings. I didn't hear so much around the Worcester area, but Boston definitely. Were very concerned about anyone entering it. So if you had a
Oh,
PCA,
right.
a family member that was helping as part of your personal care, people were having difficulties with that, to the point where I believe the Attorney General or another state entity came up with a letter that people
Right.
could use saying, "Hey, look, I provide care, essential care for this individual, and I need to be able to come, get in there and provide that care." So so that was something that you didn't think about. There's transportation. I
Right.
mean, people are very concerned about mass transit now, right?
Yes.
Being
Getting
there.
on there safely.
But think about too, and then the other thing I didn't realize, but paratransit, for example, right? Sometimes paratransit, you have 2 or 3 other riders with you in a very small space. And again, that's just very concerning. And I know like transportation has really dropped the amount of volume, the numbers of people using it, but still, all these different factors, added on to current challenges and other, activities that people with disabilities normally do. It just makes it really difficult. And but I think we're learning a lot, so from this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And just to add on to what Joe was saying about the transportation. I know WRTA, I believe even the MWRTA, Metro West Regional Transit Authority, when they do have the paratransit vans, they're really trying hard to limit it to one passenger at a time rather than, sharing. But, just think about it. I mean, it's, I know with WRTA, I mean, they have to strap you in.
Yes, I was going to ask about that.
Yep. So even that, silly little seatbelt. I mean, first they got to tie you down, then they got to put the seatbelt over you, which normally I don't like doing because A, I don't think it would really make that much of a difference, and B, it just ends up getting in my way. But whatever. So, but they're going to be like right on top of you.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, we don't have a choice, and it's just right. I don't particularly like being strapped in either. I'd rather have the ability to choose. For example, if you go in the subways in Boston, you don't get strapped in. Or
No.
You've got to be able to position yourself so you're secure. And I've been on buses in Washington D.C. Riding a big bus in Washington D.C. and you get to choose if you want to be secured or not. And I'd rather not be, because I can put my brakes and position myself where I feel safe enough. And again, I like to be able to move around and not be secured that way. But right, so that's just one thing that you find.
Well, I have to ask, EJ, you don't know this. Now they're having that you have to go on the back of the bus. Is that what they're doing? You have to go on the back of the bus to get on. Is that how they worked it? I remember hearing that. They have to wear a mask.
Yeah, so my understanding is that people are going through the back of the bus,
Right.
except if you require to use the stairway or whatever in the front of the bus where you can go in. I believe there's a plexiglass kind of divider there, or a protection, something like that there.
Well, what about somebody has to be strapped down? Doesn't the driver have to get out?
Yeah.
Are they doing it?
I guess so.
What about kids? Do they have to be strapped on a bus?
No.
No, okay. Just so the person who goes on.
I'm not sure the buses have. I don't think the buses have safety belts, do they?
I remember seeing
not to my knowledge.
something a long time ago. I saw one, but
I don't remember seeing that kind of stuff. And yeah, so yeah, I know that's again things that in a paratransit van I can see why you need to be strapped down.
Right.
But in a big bus, that's it's different.
And you have to wear a mask now. Everybody has to wear a mask.
I think that's logical. I mean,
yeah.
I think people are going to be wearing masks for quite a while.
Now, people who sip and puff, what's going to be their option? Or people have they have to wear something else, I guess, or maybe they don't go out at all.
I haven't thought about that. That's interesting. I think people would figure out their own ways. I mean, so you could put the mask around the sip and puff device, make it go through it, and tighten it. So nothing. I think there's ways of doing it. People are really creative, and especially.
I've noticed.
I mean, you don't have a choice. You got to figure out ways. And believe me, I know folks with disabilities want to be as cautious of the virus as anybody else. So, I would imagine that they would put the sip and puff, which is basically kind of like a straw type of device, through the mask and secure it so there's no leakage, if you will.
Right.
And just maneuver things like that.
Oh, okay. Do you have any questions? No, he's just listening. So, in terms of housing, any issues with housing besides people from the outside coming in? I heard evictions are on hold, right? Foreclosures are on hold. Have you heard from your neck of the woods? Anybody with people with disabilities or anybody in general? Are they concerned about their housing at all? Have you heard any issues?
I haven't heard of any issues, but the only thing I'll add, and I know Mike may have more stuff. So one thing I heard, which is really interesting, and I've heard it from both Massachusetts and New York, is, we've always talked about the homeless population.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And how homeless and everything else. And so it's like, all right, so now there's even more of an important reason to make sure people have housing. I mean, because you want people to be safe, and it's not only good for that individual, of course, but also for society. And so I'm wondering if this will help push to create more housing opportunities for people who are homeless or going to be homeless or whatever, and really, not only because it benefits that individual, but it benefits society in general. I think that's going to be important. So I'm hoping that comes out of what we're doing.
Yeah, I've heard about that because now they're at the DCU Center.
Yep.
Do you know of anybody with a disability at the DCU Center who's homeless?
I don't know.
I'm curious about that.
Here. Yeah, same here. But the moratorium. I know there's a lot of information out there for that's both for the tenants and for the landlords. How any of that, all those notices to quit are they're all basically on hold, and CLW does have some consumers that are tenants that have already have received notices to quit. One of the people, Joe, you know him as well, but I won't mention names just for confidentiality. But that's something I would imagine once this clears up and the moratorium is lifted, there'll probably be a lot of housing court activities. I know this one example, the notice to quit was served even before COVID-19 really took hold.
Yeah,
they were basically bad tenants.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So so it's it's a interesting time, and there are landlords that are still trying to serve these eviction notices, but
Wow.
they have to be reminded by someone of a higher authority. It's like, no, you can't do that right now. And the consumer tenants that we have that have these notices, that would serve the notices, we're trying to tell them, hey, you know what? During this time, try to do things to make yourself not be evicted.
You're right. Empower yourself.
If you have way more than the allowed amount of pets or companion animals or service animals, you have to do something about them. If you're not cleaning up after your animals,
Well,
please, clean up. I mean, be a good tenant. It works both ways.
We talked about here about 8 minutes or so. When I look at the nursing homes, now you know how we always advocated for community-based services, right? And we're still doing it. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned about nursing homes, and I think we learned about how they're on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to equipment and helping not only the workers but helping the people they serve. Your wife, I think she still works in that arena, and it's amazing how so many people have 50% of the death rate is due to nursing home clients.
Yeah, higher,
Yeah.
Robbin. It was like, I think 54, 46.
That's very sad.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure, Joe, you could easily agree with this. It's just yet one more reason why you want to support community-based services as opposed to institutional services.
Yeah.
Now, where my wife works, I mean, vast majority of the people that are in there are because there's really, I know it sounds morbid, but it's basically the end of the line.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, like last Friday, we actually did. We were able to transition a person out of a institution home, and oh boy, you get how happy and relieved this consumer must have been being able to, get the heck out of there and into a place that's probably a lot more safe.
Right.
From infection.
Anything on your end, Joe? Regarding nursing homes or changes, do you see the advocates holding a commission hearing after this is all said and done about how to improve the quality of life in nursing homes from illness?
I think, I'm just trying to, most of the time, our focus is more independent living with this technologies and the things that we have. And we don't really focus on the nursing facilities. And again, Mike kind of described a lot of folks that are in nursing facilities need that constant skilled care and maybe more toward end of life type of things. I'm not the most familiar person with nursing homes, but I just think it's the importance of finding community-based services for people that choose in the community is really important. And also, I think the education for everybody concerning, protocols that we should take concerning like viruses and just normal, daily hygiene, things like that. I think that's going to be really important. We should think about and policies that we should do. On our end, I know that we're like, for example, our assistive technology, computers or whatever, where sometimes we loan them out. So we have a process now of cleaning them a certain way and using different things and ways to be able to make that kind of connection in this kind of world. So it's just, I think there's going to be some some good amount of awareness that's drawn out of this lockdown and events.
Yeah, so with less than 5 minutes to go, I mean, what has happened? I mean, it happened. Pandemic, I don't not get into the politics of who's who, but I think it has raised awareness about the quality of care that people receive across the board. And I think there's been a lot of positive things that come out of it, like for PCAs. Now they could better prepare PCAs with equipment. Or home care people when they come visit people. If we have a pandemic again, they don't have to scramble around, not having to find face masks. You know what I mean? They should, like you said, Joe, like a protocol across the board.
Right. People should already have that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you should have, face masks, gloves. Most people do have gloves. I'm not sure about face masks.
Yeah.
Protocols. I mean, this is going to be important. I think, I wouldn't be surprised within the PCA management there's going to be additional resources and education for folks as to best ways to work in environments like this, right? Or in general. So,
right.
And also I heard that I think some of the Mike make comment on this, but I think some of the personal care management entities have gotten some PPEs, personal protection equipment that they can distribute and things like that. Also, I heard that if you're on the Mass Health PCA program and you don't have equipment and you need it, to contact Mass Health, and Mass Health actually will get it to you and things like that. So, but I'm not sure. Mike may have more info on that.
Yeah, not 100% sure. I do know. I do know that that equipment has been located and available. How it gets to the consumers and or the PCAs, the personal care assistants, I don't know, because even though it's probably CLW's biggest service, I'm not in that particular department, so I don't know all the ins and outs. I mean, typically I would I'd be able to just go like 4 desks over and ask.
Well, we have 2 minutes left, so why don't you guys just anything coming up? Zoom, anybody can get involved with?
Well, I do want to bring up about the ADA 30th anniversary.
Okay.
The Worcester one has been canceled, but there's still talk about perhaps another event later, and maybe in the fall or something. Boston was going to be doing a march, and they put that plans on hold. Again, this is the ADA 30th anniversary,
right.
Americans with Disabilities Act, and Boston was going to be doing a march on sometime in July. And so it's a little concerning that we're not going to have the kind of outdoor celebrations. I'm sure there'll be some virtual things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer, if you will. But I'm sure that as we get out of this lockdown and everything else, we'll figure out ways to celebrate the Americans with Disabilities Act. Really, something that's very important to many of us.
Wow. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up now. Well, I thank Mike Kennedy from CLW and Joe Bellil from Easter Seals for coming on our Zoom show today. And if you have any questions, you can contact me, and I'll be happy to contact both of them. And this has been an episode of Miller Chat, my 21st year in May since 1999. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming on, guys. And we'll have to come on again.
Thank you, Robbin.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Robbin.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Mark, from the Shrewsbury Media Connection.